we talked a lot about this in the opening episode. We needed some kind of representation of the whole Atlanta scene. Young Thug and Gunna, Migos, Young Jeezy, Gucci Man, everything that was happening from the mid 2000s on in Atlanta. We need something to represent that. We settled on Future's DS2. Why do you think that is a good choice to represent the whole Atlanta thing that happened?
Well, it's interesting. Like the thing about Atlanta, to use that the term, is the fact that it's the heartbeat of Black America, and there are so many artists who have not only influenced rap music and hip hop culture for the last really a decent period of time. You could definitely go back to Freaknik, but I would realistically say within the last 20 years, Atlanta has full on become the epicenter of Black America in so many ways, musically, even a lot of TV shows that are coming from there. But then I think one of the other big things is the fact that so much television and movie production also moved to Georgia, or did a lot of work out of Georgia, even though it may have been Hollywood based or New York based. It allowed for Atlanta to become almost like a new Great Migration, where in the early 20th century you had so many Black folks moving from the South up into the Northeast or into the Midwest or out to California, and in the early 2000s and even to this day, in a lot of ways, you have folks from New York, Philly, Chicago, DC, Baltimore moving down to Atlanta or the Atlanta area and in Georgia. And it's created so much opportunity for a place that already had its own heartbeat to now take on the rhythms of so many other regions and cultural aspects of Black America, and it showed up so much in the music. And I think that artists like Future, artists like the Migos, so many folks who come from Atlanta, and we definitely have representation from Outkast and some of the legends of Atlanta hip hop already in our list, but there are so many people who have gone on to shift and innovate in unique ways, aspects of the culture that wouldn't exist without so much plurality kind of moving itself into Atlanta. And so for DS2 specifically, I think that while there are certain influences in some of Future's music that does come from New York and does come from other regions, it is full on an album that, from its sonic structure to the lyricism and the wordplay, is very much Atlanta through and through. This album has a song for all of it.
So the only other question here is, did we pick the right Future album? Because I think a lot of people would say his 2014 mixtape Monster would be the correct pick. Mm-hmm. For me, it's DS2. But are we doing Monster dirty? Is that the more important project, do you think?
I don't think we're doing it dirty. I mean, because once you open the door, I mean, yes, Monster's for sure going to be in the conversation, but when you bring mixtapes into the picture, it opens the door tremendously for Future's catalog. And there's not necessarily a problem with that. But I don't know if I personally would have Monster as the number two, even though those songs were ringing off in the club, at a certain point in life where it was just a lot of fun. And so I think that for me, I Never Liked You is in the conversation for his, one of his top albums. Evil, I think, is also right there. So I would want to replace DS2 with any of those options, but whenever I start to consider Monster, then it kind of feels like it opens up the floodgates to allowing any of his catalog or the majority of his catalog to be up for that conversation. Because, and it's not a knock against Future, but a lot of his catalog sounds very similar in a lot of ways too. So.
And I think DS2 is the crowning achievement, the most consistent one, and the one where he kind of perfected everything that he was doing on all of those mixtapes before.
Yeah.
I think it all came together on DS2. At least,
yeah, because he's essentially talked about the same thing for every project that he's put out, but the one that is the most cohesive and the best example of a complete picture of Future is DS2.
Agreed. Best song. Mine might surprise you, but it's an unquestioned best song for me on this record. It's the one that I've been bumping since the day it came out, and it's still on a lot of my playlists, and it is I Serve the Bass.
That's valid. I thought you might actually pick a different one, but that is full on. And
I Serve the Bass, and it's not even a question for me as far as best song goes.
I mean, I would say for me, it's where you at with Drake. That beat for me, I think, is what gives it just a slight edge over I Serve the Bass or Stick Talk. Yeah, for me, Where You At is probably my choice for... No, it's not even probably. Where You At is definitely my choice for the best song on the album.
That's fair. I Serve the Bass, I just want to say, like, that beat is so grimy. Like,
yeah.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
Like, it's so grimy, and I love it for that alone.
Metro Boomin.
He is... And that's another important piece of this, like, that we didn't say, is, like, Metro Boomin has to be top 5 most important producers of the last,
Easily.
25 years?
Easily.
Yeah, easily. And so
Mike
the
Will
fact
made
that
it.
Yeah.
Metro Boomin.
His 21 Savage projects, very important to me.
Mm-hmm. His projects with Big Sean are also fire.
Biggest song, and this brings into a conversation, we're considering the deluxe release rather than just the original?
Fuck up some commas.
Yeah,
fuck up some commas.
All right,
yeah,
good.
definitely.
Worst song for me is the Percocet and Stripper Joint. Don't like that song. Not a fan.
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, the downside about this album is that there's probably like 3 or 4 that I could be like, all right, this is the worst song of the project.
Yeah, it's always been a little bit of a thing with Future for me, is like the highs are so high and then the lows are like borderline unlistenable. But by and large, his projects, like, usually it's only like 3 or 4 songs, but like those 4 songs are bad for me. Yeah. But on the whole, it's an incredible project, and it's so representative of his whole sound, and I love it. 3-song sequence, I'm going with the opening. Thought it was a drought into I Serve the Bass into Where You At. There were some other ones, but that's the one, like, coming right out of the gate.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I really want to include Stick Talk somewhere in there, but it's surrounded by Freako and Lil One. So unfortunately, Stick Talk can't be in that 3. So I would also have to go with the first 3 on the album.
Yep, it's really good.